Today is the 25th of May. This morning, I did not mention it's Africa's Day or Africa's Liberation Day because that is a that Liberation Day has a question mark, and not only for Africa but for people of color all around the world. What is liberation, and how is the continent today? I am not too sure if we examine properly that we'll be, happy with what we're seeing. Nonetheless, the 25th of May is celebrated as African Liberation Day. I welcome each and every one of you to this special edition with Mr. Abundance. I've always, and by the way, I did not have intention, but since I am on African Liberation Day, I just want to pay tribute to persons like, persons, presidents, um, former presidents that were being assassinated allegedly by France, persons that look within themselves and realize that they can be more than who they are. And I will always continue to say that we are our problems and we are our solutions. This morning, I saw a conversation in group 4. I also saw the response of Dr. David Newton. I also saw the response of my national executive coordinator out of Kenya. And those of you who are in Nigeria, one person says that if you are nobody, they will kill you. But if you're somebody, they will put you in jail for life. Now, my response was, and I am going to paraphrase what I said. It's an irony that we are saying about the conduct of our leaders when we try to speak out for justice, and that's what it is, justice, and the brutal treatment or treatments that are meted out on its citizenry. And I said, isn't that an irony? Are these the product of our society? These leaders, elected or unelected or corrupt leaders that we have, aren't they not ourselves pushed out? Are we not seeing ourselves amplified? Because as I always said, no, money and power doesn't change who you are. If you're a good person without money, the dictates tell me that you will be a good person with money. And so if you're pretending to be a good person without money, then whatever you really are will come out. It will amplify. And these are your brothers and sisters that have mothers and grandmothers in the community. They are a product of who we are. We are the ones that breed them. And we are the ones that support them in their nefarious, corrupt behavior. And so the seeds that we sow, we will reap. And it's not all the reaping that you would have sown. Some people will sow them on your behalf as well. Oh yes, a lot of seeds, a lot of, it's just like mangoes. No, I went up the road, a couple of weeks ago, called, I'm from the countryside, and so we have a lot of mangoes. And so may I say to you, none of the mangoes that I was eating, I planted, neither my mother. Somebody else planted them. But here we are reaping the seed that was planted by someone. And so today we are reaping also the good and the bad seeds that were planted by our forefathers and our fathers' fathers. That's what we're reaping, whether they be good or bad. And so I will continue this week, because today I will not be able to exhaust. When I listen, because sometimes you see, I go back. When I see people like Thomas Sankara, the former president of Burkina Faso, because he was the one that renamed Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso was Upper Volta. And as I did my research, Upper Volta signifies a dependent and something people. It's like a people that don't know what they want. Dependent. And he changed that Upper Volta from being a dependent to Burkina Faso, a people that walk upright. A people that walk upright. He was assassinated by France in 1963. Equally, in 1963, we had Sylvanus Olympio, president of the Republic of Togo. He too was being assassinated. In 1996, we have, forgive me, because some of these names I did not give them. In 1996, we had John Akiu Ironisi, the former president of Nigeria. In 1969, we have Abdirachad Ali Shameki, president of the Republic of Somalia. All these presidents that were being assassinated. Abid Amani from Zanzibar. All these are people. We have Marine Kokorabi, former president of the Republic of Congo, Brazzaville. And the list goes on and on. People that would not bend to France. And in 2001, it was Muammar Gaddafi, president of Libya. And so in tribute to these great men, we salute them today. I'm sure that if they were here, they would be turning in their grave when they listen to what is happening in Nigeria and Kenya and Zambia and South Africa with Chinese now. It's too much. It's too much. Now I have 9 minutes already. I will be very short with because if one doesn't know himself, then how can one become meaningful? How can one really give you his full ability if one does not know himself. And that's why I always bring along with me personal development, because there's always two mindsets at work. You have those, the visionary mindset, they can see with their minds what others miss with their eyes, wide open. Hence, recognizing potential where others don't. And sometimes, we look back in life and we question our parents and grandparents. How come these people were able to have businesses? How were they able to have big houses? How were they able, and why are we living in this? Why this little piece of land? Why? And they have so much. It's all about mindset. It's all about who you listen to. It's all about knowing yourself. I remember that there was a gentleman in my village. He would talk to my mother how bad the United States is and was. And she took in everything that he told her. And as a result of that, it poisoned her mind from ever go to the United States. But on the other hand, he and his entire family are became United States citizens. Do you see the difference? And that is why I am saying, when you don't know who you are, when you don't have a plan and a vision of your own, you will fall into somebody else's plan. Man, know thyself, says Socrates. On the other hand, the general population see only with their eyes, often missing opportunities for improving their own circumstances. The visionary mindset see things with their minds, where the general population miss with their eyes wide open. And it is the same thing that is happening with cryptocurrency. You have a group, you will put people in the group, you will invite them to a session, they will listen you talk about cryptocurrency, and they will understand nothing. Nothing. While you have some people who only want to see it once and hear it once. You don't need to persuade them. The poor mindset, I heard, like one day I was at I was in town and there was a lady who came up to the cafe, and she was saying, do you know of anybody hiring? She's looking at job. I said, I am hiring, but it's online. And I told her, we are in cryptocurrency. She says, but isn't that oh no. First I said online. So she thought it was stocks and bonds. And then she said, I need somebody to tell me about stocks and bonds. And I said, not really, but I'm into cryptocurrency. And then she says, oh, but is it not easily hacked? Is it now? She is now creating objections as to why she should not understand cryptocurrency. You see, we cannot blame anyone for our failures anymore. We could have done that in physical slavery, but now that we are free slaves, because that's what we are free slaves, we cannot blame anyone for our present situation, because we spend the time that we spent is to butcher each other. The time that we spend is to plot against each other. The time that we spend is to bring down each other. Those are the meaningful times that we spent in our lives. And then you wonder, when you look around at other races and you see the progress that they're making, then you look and you ask yourself, why are we still here? After, in my case, in Antigua, slavery was abolished in 1834, which means we're about 186 years after slavery. And why are we not the major shareholders in this economy in my country? Why is still a 1%, the Chinese and the Syrians, that hold 80% of the wealth in their hands, just like South Africa? A 1% holds 95% of the lands. Why is it like that? We need to ask ourselves the question, because we do not know who we are as a people. We do not know who we are as a people. And so today, on Africa's Liberation Day, may I say that we need to liberate oneself first before you can liberate another. You have to emancipate your mind from mental slavery, because the world gives to all of us, as it is now, equal opportunity. We can create. What is it preventing you and I from coming together and start a business, just like we have done with the abundance coin? What is it that is holding us back from pooling our resources by bringing out the best in us instead of the worst? What it is that has cursed us that much that we can't even seem to get along, even as we are free? We don't want to know who we are. We don't want to know where we come from. We don't want to identify with Africa. I told my son the other day about Africa. He said, no, Daddy, don't go there. I said, why? Because it's not good. Now, that is how the Western media has been able to brand Africa. I told you, when I went to New York in 1989, because of the way America branded itself, you would believe that you're going to paradise on earth. That was the picture in my mind pre-1989, the May the 3rd, pre-May the 3rd, 1989, when I first flew in to JFK International Airport. On my descent into New York City, when I looked and I see the garbage below me, I said, what? Am I dreaming? And so I had to pinch myself a couple of times, because you know sometimes you're dreaming, you know, and sometimes you just jump out of your sleep. So I thought I was dreaming, and real dreaming indeed. I thought I was dreaming, because nobody ever told me that New York was so filthy. Nobody ever told me that I will be seeing rats in the train stations in New York, like cats and dogs. Nobody told me that the litter on this. And by the way, when I landed in New York, as if the shock from the ear was not enough, because I was now driving from, by the way, I'm coming back tomorrow, because this will not end today. It will not end today, I can tell you that. I have a whole slew of lineup of videos to show, and it will not end today. So part 2 or 3 will continue tomorrow. And so as if what I saw in the ear was not shocking enough, as I was driving from New York to New Jersey, then I saw not only the garbage, but I saw beggars. I saw homeless people. I said, what? In America? I cannot recall leaving from my country, traveling to New York in 1989, that I saw a beggar on my street, much less sleeping on the streets. I didn't see that. And so that was another shock for me. They will not show you the good in us, only the bad. And so as I conclude this part, is China our savior? I want to show us what we woke up to, and quickly I will this is what we woke up to. We're talking about Africa Liberation Day. And so let me share my screen to what we woke up to where China is concerned. Oh, is it that? No. This is what we woke up to.
A large number of African people in the southern Chinese city Guangzhou were driven out by their landlords and had to stay on the streets. Another video shows many Africans dragging their luggage aimlessly through the streets of Guangzhou. One of them says, "We are just walking on the road. They can't give us a house, they can't give us a hotel, and they cannot provide a place we can stay." It comes after all of the cases reported by Guangzhou authorities in April were reportedly related to African people. Chinese media have only reported about testing people from abroad. They haven't talked about testing locals. So we can't rule out the possibility that many of the locals are also infected, but it's not being reported.
That is just a couple of weeks ago. That's what we saw. The people that are coming to us saying that we are going to help you with your infrastructure because we love you. We are going to help you with your airports and your seaports because we want you to advance. I want to share another, and I want to go down to the next one. I'm just building my thesis now. And as I said, this will not end today. Are our politicians selling us back into slavery? Now, I have this video that I want to show. Then I will go into your question and answer. But I need to show this video because it's happening in Africa, it's happening in the Caribbean. I will share my screen again.
Are you happy that your country has switched allegiances from a...
He was offered $1 million to back his country that switched from Taiwan to China. Now, if it's a good thing, why the bribe? Do you see when in the Caribbean, when they have our best parts, when they're giving us loan and still the contractors, as tomorrow I will show you a tape from Nigeria that they're now presently, the Nigerian parliament is now investigating the executive arm of government because they are signing agreements, loans in Chinese language. How can you sign an agreement that you don't understand? And so this is what China has been doing. China is all about China, and they bribe our politicians. They bribe them, and because they know how filthy they are in their corruption, then China knows exactly how to get them. Why is China bribing this official? Almost all the Caribbean countries are under the bribe of China, and our leaders are so greedy that they're selling us back into slavery. It's called technical recolonization. It's a new word. And our children, what will be the answer when we are gone? They're going to ask, didn't you not see this? 1834, slavery was abolished in my country.
The Chinese want all of it, and the locals are not impressed.
That's what it is now.
Heard about it.
It is the same thing that they're doing in the Caribbean. They want that they are leasing, they're coming in, they are building your ports, they are building your seaports, your airports, your electricity, your water. They are in your most productive areas. They want your best agricultural land. They want, I understand in Jamaica that they have taken over all the front property, the beach properties. Now we have to be really serious about, are we going to sit back and allow this madness to go on? You see, and that is why it is very important that we be wise. And I said be wise because we are not here to fight to change the existent reality. Buckminster says, do not try to change anything by fighting what is in place, because what is in place doesn't smell good. He says, for you to change something, create a new model. Cryptocurrency has given us an opportunity today. And that is why tax is so important to what we are now doing and what I am saying. And so cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in 2009 came on stream. Now, I quoted yesterday, I revealed some figures yesterday, and it's worthwhile repeating them so that some of you who may not hear yesterday. And so we have Bitcoin that came out in the end of 2008, 2009. In 2009, it was basically nothing for Bitcoin, absolutely nothing. By 2010, and you had bought $15 worth of Bitcoin when it was at 0.003 of a cent. Today's value of Bitcoin, it meant that you would have had over 45 million US dollars. To be exact, 45,735,000. That is what you would have 10 years ago, $15 investment. I'm asking you, this is no technical sense now. This is common sense. I told about Eric Finman, a 12-year-old that invested $1,000 in 2012. A 12-year-old with no high school diploma, no bachelor's degree, no master's, no doctorate. but he had enough common sense to invest in an unknown currency that was called a scam, illegal. It's nothing. It's just a pure hoax. I said, a 12-year-old. How many of you who are listening to me today or who will listen to this audio is 12? How many of you are dropped out? Because Eric Finman was told by his teacher to drop out of school. And he did at the age of 15. But today, look at him. He is standing up, advising PhDs and master students. What does that say, Mr. Abundance? It only says one thing. This blue economy is no longer the fourth revolution economy. Is no longer how smart you are, how much degrees you have, which school you attended, but is common sense investment decision that will separate the poor from the rich, the beggar from the lender. And so which category will you be? And so whether you care to understand where cryptocurrency is going, it's just like cryptocurrency is just like technology, you know. Technology doesn't care about you. Whether you take time to learn it or not, it doesn't care. It moves on. It just makes your life easy, more difficult. And so in 2009, 2010, if you had invested $60 into Bitcoin, a coin that has no direction, nobody even know who Bitcoin owner is today. Nobody know. We have this name floating around, Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto, and they said, it is an American Japanese who were living in California, who moves to Canada, who moves back to Japan. Nobody knows who he is. But had you invested $60 in this worthless coin, as they will say it was, $60 today in the same America, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, you would be, even in the Caribbean, because the cryptocurrency machines in the Caribbean, you will be able to cash out from a $60 investment $182,940,000 in an unknown coin. Now, the abundance coin, the first coin to be created by an Antiguan in Antigua and Barbuda, the first coin to be created in the Eastern Caribbean countries, the first coin to be created in the wider Caribbean, because the banks are creating their coin, but they have not done yet. And it is government coin. I'm talking about now a private coin. I said, and how the coin came about, its creation, will go down in the Guinness Book of Record. And so if you, and I am saying all this because we came from across the globe as pioneers and founding members and pool our resources together, prepaid for this coin so that it's a reality today. No other coin can speak to our history. And so this coin, we have leadership all around the globe. We have a robust executive and leadership in all the major countries in the world. I said all the major countries. Bitcoin doesn't have that. And yet still, 10 years ago, had you purchased $150, ask yourself the question, What could I invested 10 years ago with 150 US dollars, and today, the 25th of May, would be able to cash out 457 million. May I repeat that number? Because as I quote this number, I know Prosperous Prince in Birmingham, England, have to be rolling over, because he had the opportunity when his friend was telling him, Prince, put a couple $100 into Bitcoin. Had Prince put $150 in Bitcoin, I wish I knew. Even though I wish I was introduced. I wish somebody would have said, Mr. Abundant, put in a thousand. I said 1,000. I ain't even talking about 100. Because I'm always like that. I'm either hot or cold. Listen to me, you can go back to all of my former bosses where I work. Is either he is hot or he's cold. I am not in between. Anything I do is either I'm hot or I am cold. You will always know where I am at any time. And I know if somebody had told me, knowing who I am, because that same year, 2009, I've already built a 9-bedroom, 7-bath at the time. I put another bath, make 8-bedroom house. I've already bought an Infinity in the garage at that time in 2009. I told you it was that same year or 1 year later, I went to New York to rescue my cousin with nearly 40,000 US dollars. So if somebody had told me, Mr. Abundance, put in 150, I would have put in 1,000. Trust me, I would have. And so if you would have put in $150, you're talking about today, an unknown coin, you will be cashing out over 457 million. I said 457 million US dollars, 350,000 with $150 investment 10 years ago. And knowing me, I would have put in 1,000 US. And so if you or I would have put in 1,000 US in 2009, when Bitcoin was at 0.003 of a cent, today as I speak to you, 2:41 p.m. on the 25th of May, you would have had an asset of 3,488,996,951 broad US dollar notes. I said $1,000 in an unknown coin where the world was saying it was fake. Up to today, they're still saying it's fake. While some countries are legalizing it, countries are banning it. I told you about BaFin in Germany. BaFin in Germany is responsible for the financial regulatory activities. They said they legalized cryptocurrency. The one court in France did it after. Then you had the assembly in South Korea legalizing cryptocurrency. Then you had a Supreme Court in India that struck down a ban that the central bank had against cryptocurrency. You had Australia doing the same. You had Wyoming, the states in this one state in the United States of America. Come the 1st of July, will start to accept cryptocurrency as money. This same cryptocurrency that everybody was squealing about, it was nothing. I said, let me repeat the number so that it, you know why I am repeating the number? Because some of you will fall in the same predicament and calamity as Prince did. You have somebody here who is telling you, wake up and smell the cookie. You have a coin that has leadership, it has management, it has been incorporated in the Caribbean and in Africa with all its social programs, having its own television and radio. It's now, the coin is now, let me share my screen. The coin is now at 25 cents. You have 19 days to go with that price. This price will never come back again. 19 days to go. The first round we are at where the coin is at 25 cents. This is your time where the coin you can get 4 TAC for $1. 4 Bitcoin today is about 40,000. It's almost 40,000 US, 4 Bitcoin. All right. And so while you're here, please take a look at our white paper. Be sure to look at our white paper. While you're here, look at the roadmap. It is very important that you look at the roadmap. How, when we started, the plans. This is the roadmap. This you will find when we begin the first round, the second round, the coin will be at 50 cents. The third round, the coin will have 75 cents. And then we go straight to the exchange. But please bear in mind, if for some chance that we raise the 2.5 million that we now have to raise to certify the coin between March and June, or June and September, we're going straight to the exchange. So don't let these rounds fool you and think you have time. So this is the time for us to affect our slogan, our one TAC, one child, our one TAC, one child, one youth, one TAC policy. All right. And while you're also here on the website, ensure to check out our scholars from around the world, our directors and our advisors from around the globe. All right. And also we have here a number of country managers. We will create, by the way, I have not done anything to this yet because we have some changes and we're still changing persons. And so, you know, there's some work that needs to be done, but nonetheless. All right. So get back to the person who would have invited you to watch this this afternoon's presentation. It's longer than I expected. If you notice, by this time I would have already taken person's question. Anyhow, today is a special brief, and so I'm going to start from the bottom. From this one, I go to the bottom, so we finish at least in 1 hour. And so Stephen is saying, good evening, Mr. Abundance, my boss. I salute you. I salute you, sir. And now I go to the bottom. So Joy, you will be you are the last one at 47 minutes to the hour. Good day to Yashens. Yes, we say good day to you, Joy. Kimba, good evening, sir. Yes, good evening. I'm taking it from the bottom. Good evening, Tiashans in the house, watching the video of how China is sneaking into Africa, though through greedy leaders, makes one realize how privileged we are to have tact. Africa will be free and safe. I like that. Because we have to do it. They will not do it. You see, the thing is, the Chinese are pressing the greed button. You see, when you're not accustomed to things, it's like I don't even know how to describe them. John, the bank, the videos are very disheartening, but thank God for TAP. These Chinese will soon learn their lesson because of TAP. We will not allow this to happen in our own land. Now, TAP must create a new breed of people, a new breed of leaders, a people that love people, love country. Africa has to be united. We must have one continent, one parliament, one currency, one leader, one policy. When you have that, then the world will respect you. All these cutting up of yes, they can have their cut up, just like the United States. You know, in the United States, you have the governors that run each state. So you have a governor, he runs Nigeria, a governor runs Ethiopia, a governor or a minister, whatever you want to call them, runs South Africa. But rest assured, we are not stopping until we have one currency, one passport. I said, it is the only how the world is going to recognize you. Some of you can't even leave from Cameroon to South Africa without a visa. But you want to come to the West. Isn't that ironic? We have to solve our nonsense in Africa because it's pure nonsense. Greeting Mr. Abundance, all the Tiashans in the house. Investors will be a part of the greatest wealth transfer in history of our world. That's right, sir. Happy to be with you this day, my dear family. That's Helena, our national executive down there in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Good evening, Mr. Abundance, and to all the Tiashans. Good evening, and good evening, Mr. Bernard. Good evening, Lasika. Good evening, TJ Brooks. Good evening, Eva Ligola. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Abundance. Good evening. Okay, and I think I ran through everybody. So tomorrow, we'll have a special edition. I want to go through the investigation that are now taking place, the giveaways to China, our leaders in the 21st century that are selling us back into slavery, as if, because they know that they already have a mansion in France, maybe they even have mansion in China, so they don't really care. They don't really care. And so they think that they can always pick up and they just leave you. That is why when they get sick, that is why Putin asks the question, no? Putin says, can anyone develop a cemetery? And I understand the question why Putin asks that, because he says, when your leaders in Africa, as soon as they begin to make money and in power, they don't stick around. Africa is no longer good for them. When they want a vacation, they go in the US. When they're sick, they go in Europe. When they want to bank their money, they go into Switzerland. But when they want to bury, they come back to Africa. And that's why the question was asked by Putin, can anyone develop a cemetery? And so on this note, I want to say thanks for those of you who've joined us. We're talking about the abundance coin. We're talking about how can we change the narrative as a people globally that can identify with artificial scarcity, lack, diseases, and manipulation. I am talking about a global people. We came together and we did what many thought we could not have done. Do not expect the elites, the governments, and the banks to tell you to buy cryptocurrency. They will not. At least I told about Eric Finman when I said 2012. Oh, we're in 2020. That's 8 years after the fact. The guy is walking around as a multimillionaire. And so do I need to convince you? No, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just here to give you the information because you may not know, because I did not know in 2009. And so I am taking upon myself to give you the information. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Because as I said in my opening, the seed you sow, not only you will reap it, but generations after you will reap it, just like what we're reaping today. And so I am not here to convince anyone against his own will, because I learned a long time ago that anyone that is convinced against his own will is always of the same mind. I said anyone who is convinced against his or her own will is still of the same mind. This is Mr. Abundance saying to you, good evening.